Hey, rebels in the house, huh? Welcome to American Reversion, and how are you all today? I'm Steve Smith. I guess it's time to get back at it. Have you been watching the race for the speaker? Kevin McCarthy, the snake, the wormo. I won't call him a rhino. He doesn't have enough substance. He's too sneaky. So I'll call him a wormo. Kevin the worm, who thought he was so important, has just been butt whacked on, is this a seventh vote? That Jeffries got more votes than he did. What was it? Let's see. 212, 201, and then Donald's got 19. We'll talk more about that. There are some lessons here. I can't stand McCarthy. Probably a lot. Now, you know what? For those of you, I'm going to say this really clear. Do you know why we're having this problem in the House? We had a I'm not a Republican, but the so-called more conservative side, the side on which the only conservatives reside, is the Republican side. So the Republicans have a razor-thin majority. Now, if the Democrats had it, they'd be able to do a lot with it. But the Republicans don't have the spine to do that. They're just as sneaky, almost, as Democrats. Not quite, but they will roll over in a minute. So the reason that we have this mess going on right now, that we can't get a strong the Republicans can't get a strong speaker in is because they don't have a majority that's large enough to ensure that. Okay, that's a couple things. Now, first off, they got a snake running for it, and we actually have some people standing up against it. See, these people, the rebels in the House, the ones who will not vote for McCarthy, they are showing us some backbone. They are showing us what democracy is. They are showing us what a representative republic looks like, what actually happens. They know this guy's a snake, and they're going to have their effect on different things in the Republican platform. They're not going to roll over. They're not going to go along. Okay? The reason they're able to do that, we'll get back to, because this is a lesson. The reason we have this mess is because of the razor-thin majority the Republicans have. The reason they have a razor-thin majority is because all of the people, and I hope some of you are listening here, and if they're not, I hope some of you who hear me will share this with them. Those of you who were too lily-livered, who thought you were just oh so smart, oh so above it all, that you wouldn't vote because voting doesn't matter, because it's selected, not elected, because your vote doesn't count, because there's sneakiness, because there are voting irregularities like there's always been. News, is that news to you? So you're just too good. You're just too above that. You won't vote. You're showing your moral superiority for not being a part of this. You see, you're just cowards. You're just chicken. You won't do the easiest thing there is to participate in the direction this country is going. Oh, you'll sit around. You'll wear your T-shirt. Out of my cold, dead hands, right? You'll wear your T-shirts, and you'll say it's time to go to war. Yeah, right. You know, wipe off that donut dust that's on your front there. Tell me all about your Mountain Dew and tell me how it's time to go to war. No, you wouldn't vote. You wouldn't be a part of it. Easiest thing. You see, you don't understand because you're probably not well read. Okay, you're not well read. So you are unfamiliar with great sayings, such as Edmund Burke. All that's necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And you probably think of yourself as good men. You probably think of yourself as the best men. I'm the best because I refuse to vote, because I won't stand against horrible things, because in order to stand against horrible things, I'd have to kind of take the side for, other things. Or you may not be familiar with this one. Silence always helps the oppressor, never the oppressed. But your silence was so morally superior. See, you and those people, if you know people like this, they're what got us here. They say that a people gets the government they deserve. I've always argued with that. Because some people get the government they deserve, the rest of us don't. See, we did what we needed to do. We went out and we voted. We participated in a process for which hundreds and thousands of people have died. Which brings me to another idiot, Dan Crenshaw. I'll get to him in a minute. The veteran, the SEAL. We got to vote for him because he's a veteran, because he's a SEAL. He's a punk. Do you realize that he called these holdouts last night? These ones who are standing on principle. He called them terrorists. Do you know that? Did you hear that? Did you realize that? Terrorists. This is our big veteran SEAL. And he called these people who are holding out, who won't vote for the sleazeball McCarthy, he called them terrorists. Is that your kind of representative? Is that your kind of Republican? Is that your kind of veteran? Is that your kind of SEAL? The other idiot, Sean Hannity, the rhino. Oh yeah, Sean plays a good game. He plays a good game. He talks a good game. Did you happen to see how he just beat Beaupert up last night on his show? Wouldn't allow her. She came on to explain why they were holding out against McCarthy. And he just grilled and drilled her, wouldn't allow her to answer a question. Sean Hannity is a bully. He's a buffoon. I don't know why anybody watches him anymore. You ought to watch Tucker if you have to watch Fox. But Hannity, he's in the tank. Understand that. That's what it's all about, okay? Yeah, he'll go against people if he knows that it's going to get him points with his buddies. Okay, those are big losers. We got 3 big losers here. Well, actually, we've got more than that. McCarthy's a loser. Dan Crenshaw is a loser. Sean Hannity is a loser. The country is a loser because of all the people out there who are just too good to go out and vote. The rest of us are suffering. What's going on right now is a lesson. And it's a lesson that these idiots who didn't vote can learn from. How a small group of people can hold out. They can hold out and they can have an effect on the larger political body. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it was designed to be. That's why majorities are required. Democracy, right? That's right. So these people have demonstrated how this can be done. Let me take you back to another old saying. All politics is local. That's right. What does that mean? People who don't think, and people who don't know their history, and people who don't read, don't understand what that means. They say, well, what do you mean all politics is local? The president isn't local. I vote for the president. He's in Washington, D.C. Because, you know what? Who votes for your state representatives? That's local, right? Yeah. Who votes for your state senators? And for those of you who don't read and won't probably vote, probably don't know the difference between state senators and U.S. senators. Okay. I'll give you that homework assignment because I don't want to waste my time trying to educate the uneducatable, which you have shown yourselves to be. All of that's local. Your city councilman, your county board of commissioners, your state representatives, your state senators, your U.S. representatives, your U.S. senators. Those are local. Did you understand that? Well, those are at least within your state. Okay? And before you get to any of those, you had primaries. And then before you got to any of the primaries, there were political clubs around that would bring people in to talk, different political groups that were trying to get their people or support the people they wanted to. You know, by the time you have somebody running for an office, you've probably had 20 people that wanted to start doing it. Have any of you morons, actually, not you all who are watching, but the ones who didn't vote, did you support any of them? You see, so you're not really for anything. And those people who aren't for anything, but just want to posture, are the reason that we have this problem now. The 19 people who are holding out and voted for Donald's, and then Matt Gaetz who voted for Trump, that was great. Those holdouts are the ones that, remember, Dan Crenshaw called terrorists. Those are the ones who won't roll over. Those are the ones who are holding out. Not Kevin the Snake McCarthy. If I not write another book about something like that, I might put in a character called Kevin the Snake McCarthy. I made a joke to Kelly last night. I said, well, after he lost his, what was his sixth vote? You know, I could just see Home Alone, right? Kevin's not here. For those of you who've watched Home Alone. They have shown how a small, committed group standing on principles can affect a much larger group. This is how local politics is played. This is how, if you're not doing it now, you need to do it. You need to be out there talking to people, trying to influence people, if you care. Now, if you're not trying to influence people, and that doesn't mean just berating them and things like that, but presenting your opinion, presenting your case in a positive and attractive fashion so as to be able to bring other people to your position and therefore support your candidates, your positions, whatever. If you're not doing that, you're not fighting for anything. What is it you're fighting for? I don't get it. Okay? Remember, all that's necessary for evil to triumph is for good men and women to do nothing. And I'll tell you right here, arguing or sitting around with your family and grousing about the things that you all agree on, that's not standing up and fighting for anything. You have to be out in the world doing these things. Oh, but then I'll lose friends and then I'll offend people. Oh, well, better to lose the country, I guess, right? Right? I guess so. Because then you'll be seen as the morally superior person who says, I'm just not going to participate in a corrupt system. Nah, it's not what you're doing. You're afraid. You're lazy. You're just lazy. You're not fighting it, are you? Folks, this is why we're in this mess. It's going to be a bigger mess now. And what's coming down the road is, I think, going to be one of the craziest and most dangerous times in American politics since I don't know when. Before the war of the 1860s? Maybe. We'll see. But make no mistake. Even though what we see on the screen and this mess that's going on, the ones who caused it were the ones who didn't vote. Don't forget that. And don't let them forget it. All right. If I've just pissed a whole lot of people off, well, the truth has a tendency to do that sometimes when people see themselves in it. I know that a lot of you agree. You understand what I'm saying. We need to make these points. We need to make it louder. We need to hold people to account. And just like we need to hold our politicians to account, we need to hold our fellow citizens to account. If you say you believe something, then damn it, stand up and stand up for it. And say it and work for it. Otherwise, we'll just watch this thing go right down in the ditch, like it's been going for a long time. And to be honest, I'll save that for another time. Remember, folks, America needs an enema. A reversion. Yes, it does. It needs a reversion. It needs a big one. And these holdouts, holding out against Kevin the Snake, are showing us what a reversion looks like. Now, we'll see if they break down. They might make deals, but here's the thing. If they make deals with McCarthy and his bunch in order to get their votes, and the deals are good, that's good politics. Don't be mad at them for going, well, they finally went and voted for him. They must have got paid off. No, maybe, are you aware of the things that they've asked for? Everything they've asked for is right. So if they can make McCarthy bend to the will of the people and do what's right, the ones who are actually paying attention, that's good, and they've won. Let them be a lesson. Let them be an example. Share this. If you don't share this, if you won't share this, you're showing you're part of the problem. And you'll see who gets offended, and that's going to tell you a lot. Time to take sides. Time to stand up. There's a reversion going on. Some people are being a part of it. Are you? We'll go out and see what happens in the next couple of days, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.